What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and happy Easter. I know what you're thinking. Why am I wearing a Halloween shirt if it's Easter time? Well, this shirt represents the current holiday about as well as the current Chelsea crop represent this club. There's your joke to start the video, because I'm not gonna yell and scream and get angry and all that stuff as much as I want to, as cathartic as it would be for me to release the inner rage and aggression at the club again. I mean, first of all, yelling about it admittedly is not a good look. Because typically when you're yelling, it feels and sounds like you're letting your emotions get the better of you. Even though what I'm saying is well thought out, like I have thought about it, I do know what I'm saying. When I'm yelling about it, it doesn't sound intelligent. But also, let's be honest, this video, not going to change anything. Not just because I don't have that many viewers, which I don't really want a whole lot of. Like, I don't care if I get that many views anyway. I would like to discuss more, so if you're watching this to this point, please discuss, because I do want to have conversations with people. That's why I do these videos in the first place. But let's just say, though, let's say this video does go viral in some alternate universe. Miraculously, it catches the internet waves, people share it, it goes incredibly viral, and everybody's watching it, millions of views. It's still not going to change anything. If I ranted and just said it how it is, showed all the problems, showed the problem with Boehly, how poorly he's run this club since he's come in, showed the problem with the backroom staff and the transfer ideas and how it doesn't work, showed the problem with the physio team, how players, they aren't even back from injury fully, and they're ending up on the end of season injury list somehow, and how many of them come back from injury and are almost instantly injured again. How poor the physio team is run. The fact that if you went to them with a paper cut, you'd probably end up bleeding out. So I could talk about all of that. Going to the team, I could talk about Pochettino, his naivete when it comes to tactics, his inability to stop picking players that aren't getting the job done, like Caicedo. You know, the inability to change things up or get the players motivated. You know, when you're 1-0 up against a 10-man team, to not get them motivated to the point where they can go out and just weather what is going to be a storm at the beginning of the second half and then see the rest of the game. The players, I could go on and on and on about how many players are clearly just here for the money. They're not here to play for the club. They're not here to play for the fans or the badge. They're here to make money. And they play like it. They play like they don't care. They don't go out and give 100% effort every single game. We've got so many players like that. I could talk about all of that, and this video could get millions of views, and I guarantee you this club is not going to change, because the people in charge are stubborn. They're stubborn, they're stupid, and unfortunately those are the two combinations that lead to what we're seeing now, which is a side that has enough money and enough quality to make it in this league, but not be successful in this league. We're not going to be successful as long as they continue to do what they're doing. The way they're running this club, it's not going to get any better. But the problem is, it's also not going to get bad enough to affect real change. What it's going to take is one of two things. One, rock bottom, which I don't think any Chelsea fan wants to see. I don't think any of us want to see us get relegated, but that would affect some change. That would cause, I mean, most of them would leave because they're like, oh, we don't want to be a part of this championship side. But we might get people in that actually care about this club and want to see this club succeed and actually have football IQ. We might see that happen, but it would take rock bottom. It would take a relegation from the league, which, again, none of us would want to see. So the other option is they just have to see their plans fail, which unfortunately is going to take 4 or 5 years. Because their plans to build a young squad, let them develop and grow together, and then they'll mature and be a full team of, mid to late 20s that have been playing together for 4 or 5 years. That plan, it's not going to work because it relies on too many variables that in football just you can't count on. You can't count on all of these guys turning out to be superstars. You can't count on the team to continue to play well together and to actually function as a unit And when you have players that fall out, you have to replace them. When you have a good season, you still have to freshen things up to keep things from getting stale. So there's so many issues with the idea of we are building a team that is going to be the team for 4 or 5 years, and then by the end of that time, they'll be a unit that's worked together for so long that they know each other so well. There's so many things that are wrong with that idea, but it's clearly what they've wanted. I could be wrong about this. I don't think I am. I have enough evidence based on the players they brought in, the contracts they brought them in on. In my mind, this is what they're doing. But it's not going to work because it's not that simple. Football is not that simple of a sport. It's not like baseball. So they're going to have to see that plan fail before they actually go, okay, maybe we'll try something different. Because until that time, again, it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what any fan says. It doesn't matter if all the fans got together. It might matter if the fans started boycotting games. Honestly, that could work. All the fans start going to the women's games instead of the men's games. That might work. Because then that'll cause them to go, oh, crap, we're losing money. Maybe we should make changes. Maybe we should do something different and stop putting out terrible teams. Stop getting in terrible players. Stop bringing in managers that don't know what they're doing. But again, like I said, that's why I'm kind of at a point now where I know it was a little bit of a rant, but I'm not going to spend the entire video ranting anymore. I'm not going to spend the entire video getting mad, getting angry, yelling. I'm just kind of done with all of that. I've kind of accepted the fact that, yeah, unfortunately, my club doesn't exist anymore. I'm still here for the Chelsea name, but when I'm sitting here turning on the games, I am aware this is no longer the Chelsea team that I've grown up with. It's almost like a family member that becomes an alcoholic or gets addicted to drugs and how that changes them as a person. And it's not like you don't still love them because they're family, but you look at them and go, you're not the same person. You're not the same family member that I've loved. I still love you because you are that person still. I realize that doesn't make sense. You are still family. This is still technically the club that I support, but when I see how the club's being run, it's a different club. Boehly has come in and changed everything about this club to a point of being unrecognizable and not in a good way. There are some clubs that when that change happens, they become unrecognizable because suddenly the new owners come in, they have all these ideas, they start putting money in there. Sometimes it works out. For Chelsea, it has been the exact opposite. We went from an owner who was willing to do whatever it takes to win to an owner who's willing to do whatever it takes to get his ideas in here, even if it means the club fails. And that's unfortunate, but it's where we are, unfortunately. But yeah, so for now, I think I'm going to talk about the games individually, which I realize is also not that effective because if there's one thing that we've been consistent in the season with, it's how inconsistent we are. So every single game, I could talk about the pros and the cons of each player, the positives and the negatives of each player. And I guarantee the next game, those positives and negatives are probably going to change. So, Petrovic, great example to start with. Because so far this season, his positives have been he's reliable. He is consistent. He doesn't make any stupid mistakes. He's done everything normal well. His one negative has been that he's not world class. He's not a world class keeper. He's not making the saves that you wouldn't expect him to make. So like, for instance, the first goal today, that's a good strike, and it's tucked away in the corner. It's hard. It comes kind of out of nowhere. It's kind of a flash shot. So I don't expect him to make that save. But then the second one is not only a save he should make, it is his fault. It is his error that caused the goal. And that's where I'm kind of like, see, this is what I mean. We have so many inconsistencies in this team that even this keeper that has not made errors that I can think of, He's not made any glaring errors, unlike Sanchez, who made like 3 or 4 a game every single game. But Petrovic has not been doing that. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, and at a terrible time too, which I'll talk about that in a little bit, how the timing of the goals just show how stupid and naive this team is. But, I mean, the fact that in his mind, he's going for a ball up here, and he goes to catch this. I don't think I see keepers doing that at this level. I don't think I see a whole lot of keepers who, not just, shot is coming in and I'm standing up and I'm here. It is, I'm kind of diving. I'm diving to make this save and I go to catch this ball. I don't see that at this level. If I had seen that and he caught it and he saved it, even then I would have been concerned. Because I'd go, you got lucky, that's not a catchable save. That is one you tip over. Because it's away from you, you have to dive, get your arms up there. That is let me tip this over. So the fact that he went for the catch is already a little concerning. And then obviously the fact that he drops it and it goes in, it's a big error. And not only is it a big error, it is an error that costs you 2 points. It is an error that probably guarantees that we're finishing bottom half of the table this season. That is glaring. And for a keeper that has not made any glaring errors all season, unlike Sanchez, it sort of solidifies that we need a world-class keeper. If we want to challenge for Europe at all, we need a world-class keeper. So there's your example. Gusto on the right side had the most balanced game of all of the players. He was just so back and forth. He had his moments where he looked good, he was aggressive, getting down the line, looking dangerous, and then he had his moments where the ball goes out to him. He has plenty of time, and instead of taking the space, takes a touch, lets the defender step up to him, and then suddenly he thinks he's prime Hazard. He stops, he stands on the ball, and he's like, all right, come on. You come at me, and then I'm going to change my pace really quickly and go past you, and then the defender pokes it off of him, because he's not Hazard. Don't know where that came from. I don't think I've seen him do this before today, but something about today, he thought he was Hazard, and he tried to play like him, and it failed. So, yeah, for every good cross that he put in, he also wasted a glorious opportunity by trying to do way too much on the ball. Disasi, he typically is an up and down defender anyway. It depends on the game. He's had a couple where he's looked phenomenal, a couple mistakes here and there, and then he's had some games like today where it was mostly mistakes with a couple of good moments here or there. And he's not good enough. But unfortunately, he's what we're stuck with because of all the injuries we've had. Badiashile should not be anywhere near the first team. I cannot for the life of me explain why Badiashile is playing when you've got Silva back. Hell, I don't know why Badiashile is playing when you could possibly even play. And this is, for me to say this just shows how far Badiashile has fallen in my ranking, in my opinions of his ability. You could play with 3 in the back, with Cucurella as a left-sided center back. It's not a good option. It's better than putting Badiashile on the pitch. Because he is awful. He has had one of the worst defensive seasons since Djilibadji. And some of you probably don't even remember him. I do, and he was terrible. Badiashile is on close to that level. He's had so many games where he has been the cause of our defensive issues. So the fact that he is playing over Silva tells me that there's an issue. There's an issue behind the scenes, and Pochettino might be putting his pride before the team's welfare. Because I know that they've had issues with like Silva's wife in the past and her complaining and stuff. I hope that's not the issue, because if Pochettino is really benching Silva because of that for me is, hey, grow up. You have so many people who, first of all, the internet brings out the worst in so many people. So she could be a wonderful person, and just whenever she gets online, that's when she turns into a terrible person. But outside of that, you're really going to bench somebody because they're spouse is saying mean stuff online. I really hope that's not what's happening. I really hope that it's not that reasoning, because if it is, Pochettino, in my opinion, has got to be the dumbest manager ever. Because, again, there's no reason Badiashile should play over Silva. There's none. Based on performances this season, no, unless Silva is hurt, or unless he's returning from injury, which he returned from injury like 3-4 weeks ago, there's no reason Badiashile, on his return from injury, should be starting this match over Silva. And while he was not directly responsible for either of those goals, he certainly nearly gave them a couple because of his poor defending. On the left side, Cucurella is the same player he's always been. He's very brave. He'll go flying into any challenge, and if the players around him, if the opposition players are smart enough, they will let him run right by them as they turn him easily. And it happened a couple of times today, because he's just too naive as a player. And unfortunately, because Chilwell got hurt again, we're stuck with him. Without Chilwell, without Colwill, we have to use him, and that's just where we are. Because we brought in a backup for 50 million, who is probably one of the worst left backs in the league. But our transfer team, ladies and gentlemen, in the middle, Caicedo. I mean, it's similar to Cucurella in the sense of we have to play him because we don't really have any other options. But again, I blame that on the transfer team. We brought him in, one of the highest transfers in Premier League history, and he is probably the worst center mid we've had since Bakayoko. And another one that some people may have forgotten about, I haven't. He's worse than Jorginho. He is worse than Jorginho. And he's only barely better than Bakayoko. And we brought him in for 100 million. Our transfer team, ladies and gentlemen. Fernandez, I think he's playing only because we don't have any other options, but I don't think there's any doubting that you could see the effect of returning from the international break. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Like he just got back, I'm pretty sure I remember reading. And you're throwing him in, you're starting him, and you could tell he was probably one of the better players on the pitch, but he was not at his best. And I think that showed quite a few times. His passing was not on that same level that I'm used to seeing. On the right side, Palmer, I mean, obviously the best player for us on the pitch, but even he had his moments today where it just felt like nothing's coming off for him. A lot of his shots felt very tame. They were right at the keeper. There were several moments where he typically puts the ball away and he's missing, or it's easy shots. So the only reason I think he played well overall today is because outside of those, he also created a lot of chances that then other people wasted. But, I mean, obviously he scored the 2 goals. One was a good penalty and the other one was a good play with Sterling. But, I mean, on the whole of it, he still had his moments where he made mistakes too. So it's not like I can say he is completely blameless today. Gallagher was definitely not at it today. This honestly might be one of his worst performances if I really think hard about it. Because there were several moments where he's normally the one, he's full of energy in the midfield. He's constantly working his butt off to win the ball back. And then on the ball, he keeps it nice and simple, keeps the ball moving. Today, I don't remember him being that effective defensively in the midfield. And on the ball, he felt like he was trying to do way too much and kept getting the ball stripped off of him. So I really feel like he was well below his standards today. And then Mudryk on the left probably looked like one of our most dangerous players on the pitch until he got into the 18-yard box. So he wins the Timo Werner award. Because, yeah, I mean, I like the energy from him. I still don't think he's the quality we need out there. But, hey, I think he's had a couple of good games. I'll give him that credit. But we need players that are going to consistently be effective in the final third. He is not one of those players. Even in a game like today where he looks like one of our most dangerous players. He's taking players on. He's driving down the line. He's getting into spaces in behind. He's finding good passes. Even then, his shots, his crosses today were like, I think 1 out of 15 came off for both shots and crosses. So it sucks because I don't want to be too hard on him, but we did need more out of him today in the finishing aspect. And then Jackson had one of his bad games today because he's just been, he's scoring goals and he's missing everything. And he's scoring goals and he's missing everything. And he's scoring and he's missing every. I mean, I had to silence the announcers at one point because they just were raving about Burnley's keeper today. I think he had to make one save that was away from his body. Everything else was right at him. They were raving about the one shot that he saved from Jackson. Jackson passed it right at his foot. Like didn't try to pass it away from him. Gusto puts it right on his chest. Mudryk had a chance to put it near post away from him, puts it right at him. I mean, every single shot almost was directly at him. But they were raving because, and so many saves. Yeah, because we keep making it easy for him. At some point, can somebody pass it into a corner instead of right down the middle? Jackson was one of the most responsible for that today. The amount of times that he got into a good space to have a shot, and instead of placing it, instead of just the one where the keeper gets his leg out, and he did do well to get his leg out, but all Jackson had to do was just lift it a little bit. It was great interplay between him and I think Gusto maybe, and he's in behind, basically one-on-one with the keeper. All he has to do, little bit of lift, or even a little bit further away, because there's, about this much space to pass into where you would have missed the end of his foot and it still would have gone in the corner. But he puts it right at his leg. You got to be better than that. And again, we can't rely on a striker who will be in form maybe 2 out of every 6 games. Like, that's not good enough. So, yeah, a pretty poor game from him overall. And it's kind of gotten to the point of we expect it at this point. Subs that came on, Madueke was the first one on for Gallagher, I believe. Right? Yeah. And, ultimately he's one that you kind of just hope that maybe his one little selfish run, maybe it comes off. It happens every so often where he'll come off the bench and he'll do something phenomenal. The Leicester goal. But ultimately, you look at his overall season, and more often than not, it doesn't lead to anything. And you kind of just get frustrated with him because he's so selfish on the ball. There are moments when just keep the ball moving. Pass. No. It's pass to Madueke, dribble, takes a shot, deflects off the defender, and now we got to go backwards with it because they're pushing us back. Just keep it simple. And he never does. So his selfishness, again, sometimes it works out. Occasionally, the Palace game, the Leicester game, he'll do something that's great. He's too selfish, though. And he needs to start being more consistent with delivering that. But it's 1 in 5 games, maybe? That's not a good return. And that's not enough for me to say, I want to see more of him. But because of that one goal, everybody raving about him. Everybody wants to see more of him. No. That's one moment in a game where I probably didn't do anything else. So hopefully this will cause some of that talk to die down a little bit again since he came on and basically did nothing. Sterling came on, obviously had a great assist, but then also had his moments where he could have won the game for us and didn't because he is trash at finishing. I'm glad he got a really good assist. I hope that maybe that gives him some confidence going into the next game, but you had a header on the 6-yard box and you missed the goal. Defend that. I don't think you can. And then obviously Gilchrist came on late because Gusto went down. So Gusto's probably going to be out for the next couple games, come back, get hurt again, be out for the rest of the season. That's just my prediction based on how the physio team operates. So, but anyways, yeah, that's about it. I did get a little frustrated at some points in this video, but I'm trying to keep my emotions about it just in check because, like I said, there's no point. No point in getting frustrated and angry and all that stuff because it's where the club is, and it's where we'll unfortunately be for a little bit unless the fans do something about it, unless the fans start boycotting games, or until we just reach the end of their little trial period and they realize, oh, wait a minute, our plans, our ideas, our future for this club, it was all wrong. It was all stupid. None of it worked. Until we get to that point, we're just stuck here being disappointed, dropping points against relegation sides. So, that's about it for me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on the game today? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe as well. And check out the channel. We have reviews. We have Let's Plays. Please check out all of that stuff. And until next time, I hope you guys have a great day. And I will talk to you all later. Peace out.